JRPGs are famous for being large games with big casts and a lot of focus on plot and world building, and that scope can be a little daunting. Some gamers have avoided the genre entirely, while others have never moved beyond old favorites like Final Fantasy VII. While there's some debate over what is and isn't a JRPG, there's no denying that the genre is much more accessible than it appears to be. Since there are so many different JRPGs out there, players have a wide range of stories and gameplay types to choose from, so they can find something that clicks with them. From fantasy to sci-fi to stories with the modern-day setting, there's really a JRPG out there for everyone.
Even though Persona 3 is the first entry in a series, fans consider the original, which was first released in 2006, as the beginning of the new Sona era, which took the franchise in a new direction. It blended time management mechanics with engaging turn-based combat set in Tartarus. The powerful story and standout soundtrack, along with the unique high school setting, helped Persona 3 win over countless JRPG fans. Persona 3 Reload brings that experience to a modern audience with a range of updates. The UI has been overhauled, players now have more direct control over the full party, and an updated translation helps the story land more effectively. It combines the best parts of Persona 3 and Persona 5, and is a great starting point for the series.
Final Fantasy VII, along with games like Chrono Trigger, is a foundational title in the JRPG genre and is often cited as an inspiration for modern games. There are many reasons to play the original Final Fantasy VII on its own, regardless of the remake, but for those new to the genre, starting with the remake may be a better option. Remake covers the first third of the original game, rebuilding it from the ground up with new visuals and combat. Characters now explore 3D environments, and players can control them directly through new action mechanics. There's still plenty of things to do in the game, from side quests to upgrading weapons and materials, so players can spend as much time with it as they'd like. Curious fans who finish the remake can then play the original if they decide they like it.
First released in 2017, Nier Automata puts the player in control of 2B, an android fighting to save humanity from robots that have taken over the world. The game drips with style and edge, seen in 2B's striking design, and that flair carries over into the gameplay. It also features one of the best JRPG stories ever told. Nier Automata rewards exploration with world building, foreshadowing, humor, and plenty of gags. Its greatest strength is how it draws players in and encourages them to think about the world around them, which is a useful skill in JRPGs, where games often hide things in plain sight. And it delivers all of this in a compelling package that's hard to put down.
Fire Emblem Three Houses is the best-selling game in the series and a solid entry point for beginners. Its story is completely self-contained, so there's no need to be familiar with earlier games or references, unlike in other Fire Emblem titles like Engage. The map design and strategic gameplay aren't the strongest in the series, but that works in favor of newcomers, offering a gentler introduction before moving on to more challenging entries like Engage or Fates. Three Houses does a great job of drawing players into its world and keeping the slower parts engaging by encouraging curiosity about the characters. The cast is strong, and the game's support conversations give players a chance to get to know every character. It serves well as an accessible entry point so that players can see if Fire Emblem clicks with them. Octopath Traveler is a great entry point for players interested in sprawling worlds with more stylized graphics. It's one of the first games to use the HD 2D style, which combines pixel art sprites with stunning 3D environments. The game captures the feel of older titles from the Super Nintendo era while taking advantage of modern hardware to deliver striking visuals. It's a dense game with 8 different characters to choose from, which not only shapes the story, but also affects gameplay. The turn-based mechanics offer plenty of depth, making battles engaging and giving players lots of options for how to progress through both the story and combat.
Octopath Traveler is a strong choice for those looking for a modern take on what made JRPGs so popular in the 90s.
Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch blends several elements into one experience. It combines classic Ghibli storytelling and visuals with fun gameplay, mixing turn-based combat with real-time action, and unique party members with creature catching. The result is a great JRPG that keeps players eager to see what happens next. It's an ideal game for anyone looking to get into the genre and play through a Ghibli-style adventure. Studio Ghibli produced several gorgeous animated sequences for the game, and the soundtrack was composed by Joe Hisaishi, known for his work on most of Hayao Miyazaki's films. Fans of those films will love the artwork and music, which also helped introduce players to JRPGs.
Super Mario RPG was originally developed by Square, the studio behind Final Fantasy, and published by Nintendo, which is why it so deftly translates Mario and friends into the world of JRPGs. Players familiar with Mario through other games would do well to pick this one as an entry point to the genre, since it explains and implements turn-based battle mechanics very well. The game also has a ton of good gags, helping it stand the test of time thanks to internet memes. Even though Mario is known for platforming, plenty of great Mario RPGs have come out over the years, and playing the first one could help players discover even more amazing games.
Bravely Default isn't a household name in the JRPG world, but the original game was an underrated release on the 3DS, and it's great news that an HD remaster is one of the launch titles for the Switch 2. While the graphics may not be the most advanced, the focus is on gameplay and story. The game features a unique Brave and Default system, which is a twist on turn-based combat, where players can save up Brave points to decide how often to act during a turn, or conserve resources to act multiple times later. Bravely Default also includes a robust, highly customizable class system, allowing players to approach the battles in whichever way works best for them.
Unlike most JRPGs, Yakuza Like a Dragon isn't set in a far-off fantasy or sci-fi world. It takes place in modern-day Yokohama, but it still features turn-based combat, and, in a twist fitting the series, lets the party attack with nearby objects. The game has the same humor, action, and insanely addictive minigames as the rest of the series. Technically, Like a Dragon is the 8th Yakuza game, but it features a new story and protagonist, so curious players don't have to worry about being out of the loop. Instead, they can enjoy the gameplay and get a taste of JRPG structure in a more familiar setting.
Chrono Trigger was released back in 1995, and 30 years later, it's still considered to be one of the best JRPGs of all time. It was created by a dream team that included the creators of the Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest series, and Dragon Ball's Akira Toriyama provided the character designs. Even though Chrono Trigger debuted on the Super Nintendo, it was ahead of its time, and both its story and mechanics hold up perfectly today. Unlike many other older JRPGs, it doesn't have random encounters, and the time travel storyline always keeps things interesting. Today, Chrono Trigger is available on PC, iOS, and Android, making it one of the most accessible JRPGs of all time.